You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account, a friend paying you back, or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card, or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
Would you guys be kind enough to clarify a couple of things for me that I don't know whether we've gotten resolution on? One, the 12 days of Gregmas that we did over the holidays. Why were our listeners so mad about that? What happened? Where did we fail them? And why was it Jeremy's fault?
Well, it's always my fault, so I'll take blame on that one. We took episodes that were already in our Megaphone feed and rescheduled them purposefully with strategy for everyone to be able to have their special 10 days of Gregmas. Chris and I did some intros, but with Spotify and Apple Podcasts, there are settings within your podcast app that if you've either already listened to or already downloaded episode, it won't repopulate. And so, understandably, some folks didn't see it. They were upset. I tried my best on Twitter to give everyone the dates of those shows.
Okay, so unprofessional and unreliable by our organization.
Totally professional and reliable and well-scheduled and well thought out.
If anything, it sounds like it's the fans' fault,
Right,
honestly.
it is everyone else's fault.
It's their
we
fault.
provided them the information.
Stop listening, and then when Jeremy tweets, just watch all his tweets.
I think the fans were also
Idiots.
mad with us just being off. I mean, during a busy time in sports.
I will tell you, we'll bring in David Samson now, and I've got a number of different things in sports to speak to him about, but he's just basically trying to improve our corporate climate, and I'm worried about that because he's the guy who says, hey, Mike Evans, you're not getting $3 million in incentives. I want us to be a company with a soul. David Samson does not have one of those. However, David Samson, I would argue, is probably right if he thinks there is nobody at our company working harder right now than David Samson. I don't know if he thinks that, but do you think that?
I would not pretend to try to guess the way that people work hard to do the number of hours they do with you, Dan. I can only tell you that your sleep habits with my sleep habits, with Skipper's sleep habits, plus all the other issues that are pervasive in the company of your creation lead to this. Lead to me sitting here since 9:40 waiting for you because that's when I was told to be here, and now it's 21 minutes later. And I don't have that kind of time to waste.
Billy was cooking on the heat. He had...
Doesn't matter.
Me? Well, it does matter.
He's wearing a dinosaur costume, and he was cooking on the heat.
David, that's where you're wrong. Billy's words matter. They matter to this audience. They matter to this radio show.
How did this become a Billy thing?
I don't know.
I'm happy for Billy's words to matter as long as I'm on at 9:40.
This is not a Billy thing. Let's just be very clear. I'm dressed as a dinosaur today to make Dan happy. I don't control who's talking when.
You are making me happy. I believe, and that was very diplomatically stated by you, but David Samson is working very hard on Nothing Personal, on the Sporting Class. He's doing a number of different things to be valuable during a very valuable content time. So I ask you, David, in the proliferation of the business of podcasting, what are you fascinated by as you see Nothing Personal grow and an assortment of economies emerge where Billy is in the back saying, enough with all of these companies making content with their independent brands. Enough content. I don't need more content.
So everybody needs more content. I think what you're finding is there's a great difference between people who have a name and then get money up front, and then all of a sudden there's disappointment when the production does not match the name. And so you're having a lot of people, there's no barrier to entry to start a podcast, but it turns out that the work ethic required, like what you all have, to do a show every single day for the number of hours you do, there's a huge value to that, as opposed to a famous person starting a podcast and doing it maybe once a week or every other week. It turns out that companies don't have the value associated with that they thought they did, because sponsors want consistency, continuity, and daily shows are way more valuable than weekly shows.
What would you say was the most interesting thing from the Golden Globes? We have not talked about anything Golden Globes related. I don't know if you guys think. Jeremy Strong is very self-serious, right? He is he in on the joke, or is he just self-serious? What are you shaking your head about him?
He's absolutely not in on the joke. Everything I've read about him is that this is a guy who he patterned his whole career after Daniel Day-Lewis, someone who famously takes himself very seriously.
Yeah, but he's a method actor. He takes acting very seriously, but he's not dressing as someone who takes himself very seriously.
For what it's worth, that silly outfit, he said he wore that specifically because he's always accused of just wearing brown and drab clothes. So he figured, why not do something kind of silly? Which is him trying to remake his image, but still at least trying.
He's a great actor. We can agree on this. Yes, he was exceptional and the star of Succession. If it wasn't Brian Cox, he was one of two stars on one of the smartest shows ever made.
Not only that, but what his performance in The Apprentice, what he was nominated for, that's a movie that for whatever reason people aren't seeing because they don't want to be seen as supporting Trump by seeing the movie, and it's a crime not to see The Apprentice. Both Sebastian Stan's performance, but Jeremy Strong as the attorney Roy Cohn, simply fantastic. And the outfit, it's the Golden Globes. He would not wear that. If he's nominated for an Oscar, and those nominations are out on the 17th of January, if he's nominated in the supporting actor category, which would be an upset, I do guarantee you he will not wear that to the Academy Awards.
The other thing that I wanted clarification on, other than the 12 days of Gregmas that were clearly Jeremy's fault, people, I don't think, are believing that your facial injury was something that happened the way that you said that it happened, falling, running across the street. And it appears like you have had to have work done on your face, because I can still see the swelling from a week ago. Like it seems like this was a horrible fall that you had.
The swelling is gone. I do have a pretty cool scar now on my upper lip.
It's just his face.
Yeah.
Your face looks more swollen than it did. Okay,
he's just fat.
So does yours, Dan.
Holidays, Dan.
Thank you, Jeremy, but that's not what we're talking about. I didn't fall on my face. That's something you do around here.
It's the Monopoly hat.
But Dan, to be fair, there was, as I was nursing this injury over the break, I did feel like this was karma taking a big dump on me for all the Jay Leno stuff. Because I was kind of the loudest voice on Jay Leno owes money to the mob. And now I'm like, okay, maybe he just fell down a hill. You know what?
Well, people don't.
It can happen.
What is the fairest criticism? Billy, I don't know what you've heard. Do people believe? People are saying Amin got into a fight. Meadowlark's not talking about how Mike Ryan and him got in that fight, defensive about basketball, drank too much at the holiday party. Like, what's real and what's not real here? Billy, is there some inner office gossip around Amin?
Saw the bald guy around these parts that week, so who knows?
So
he touched his elbow.
Your face is not swollen.
I mean, like last time I
We're
sat
doubling
in this
down on this one.
Last time I sat in this seat, I sat like at an angle because I didn't want anyone to see what my face looked like. I'm now staring right in the camera. Is my face swollen? Do you guys?
Yes.
It is?
The right side of your face, you look like a squirrel.
See, that's how you know. He said the right side of my face. The injury is on the left side. Full of shit.
With all these cameras, it could be the opposite, right?
Oh, that's right. It's a mirror.
He meant left.
It's opposite day too. Yeah.
Wait, do you have a chipped tooth also?
Samson, shut up for a second.
Dan, he's been waiting since 9:40. Let's show him some respect.
Nothing personal except waiting.
It's opposite day is what you gave me from behind that dinosaur costume.
Who said that? I'm just here to help.
I keep making eye contact with the dinosaur eyes.
I wanted a microphone that I could hold up here to the mouth of the dinosaur for the visual joke, but I don't reach.
There's no joy in the joke for me when I can't see your face and see how happy you are at being the asshole. Because it's opposite day is the worst you can do, Billy. Like, it's opposite day.
He's got an ear-to-ear smile underneath that thing.
Gave me nothing, and I can't even see your smile.
I was trying to help Samson, believe it or not, because he got the wrong
You
side
were
of the
trying
face.
to help. Samson, what do you make of what's going on with the Raiders? What are the most interesting business management leadership stories going on right now in sports to you?
Well, the number one thing in the NFL is the desire by all of these owners to come out with statements when they're not making moves or when they are making moves, and the strangeness of the timing. The whole Antonio Pierce thing I take great issue with. Nothing happened from day one postseason to day two postseason where he did a press conference and then got fired the next day. You don't make a decision like that after the press conference. He was fired before they let him do his postseason press conference, and there was no reason. What, they couldn't get to him? They couldn't find him? They couldn't reach him? It's embarrassing. And then they leak out that Tom Brady is going to be very involved in the new coach and in the search for the new coach. Guess what? Tom Brady's running that team right now, and the NFL knows it, and Fox knows it, and something's got to give. So enjoy Tom in the booth, because you're not going to see him there next year.
Whoa. What? Whoa. What?
Where's he going to be?
What?
He will be in the Raiders front office. He will not return as an analyst for Fox. You cannot be this involved in the operation of a team and be the number one analyst. It is an absolute insult to analysts what he's doing, and it's an insult to team presidents what he's doing. You end up doing both of them in a mediocre way, and I assume and I know that I promise you.
Wait a minute. Which is it? Wait. Get it right.
Do you promise or do you know?
Come on,
Right.
David.
Yes.
David, get the dismount right, please. Do you know it?
Damn
Do
it.
you assume it? Do you promise it? If you're going to give us the soundbite of saying something no one else is saying, can you do it correctly, please? Nail the dismount.
4869. Tom Brady will not be with Fox next season. He will be full-time in the Raiders front office running that team. Period.
Ooh, a period.
Oh, my God.
Period.
That's punctuation.
Wow. Oh, my
He
God.
hit us with a spoken punctuation,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. That is broadcasting expertise.
But it's still a guess, right?
It's still a guess, but it's an assumption, but he's promising you. It means nothing. It's like he said game over the other day, and it means nothing. They're just words.
Did he say period? I mean,
Let me stick up for him for what he said the other day. All he said was, if it wasn't approved, then people are losing their jobs.
Agreed.
Not like,
Wait a minute.
hey,
So for those who don't know, Mike Evans got a $3 million bonus. Jesus, I mean, not everyone listens to the show the way you do.
Sorry.
Mike Evans gets a $3 million bonus on the field, and what David Samson said about that was that if management didn't know and approve all of that, and it cost them $3 million, game over. There would be penalties. It's just a fart of wind came out of his mouth.
he wanted the Bucs to release him before the game.
So this is the part, though, right? This is the part to me that was more interesting about what he said and what he didn't say. I don't think David Samson would have approved that moment if he were running the Bucs. He would have told them to bench Mike Evans. And so that is a joyless.
He would have cut him before the game.
That is a joylessness that I was stunned by.
David, let me stick up for you here and say the Bucs needed to win that game in order to make the playoffs, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's no way you would have said bench Mike Evans in a
course
must-win
not.
game, right?
It's idiocy. You're all talking. It's hurting my ears, your inability to understand the nuance of the comment. And if you want to make it a bit, if you want to do whatever you want to do, I don't care. Of course he's going to play in the game. They've got to win the game. You got to win the game. You're not doing it to give him the extra $3 million. That play at the end was a risky play. That's why I wouldn't have done it. Before the game, I would have said in the normal course of the game, if he gets it, he gets it, but we're not going to hand it to him.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Guys, Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you're going to get any money back whatsoever, and then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert will find your every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. All so you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now this is Taxes. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live, full service, real-time updates only on iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every January feels like a fresh start. 365 blank pages, just waiting for your story to be written. In 2025, maybe you're ready for a plot twist. Ready to revise the parts of your story holding you back. Life isn't about New Year's resolutions that disappear by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your life. Therapy can help you do just that. Therapy isn't just for the big traumas. It's for anyone who wants to grow, heal, and thrive. With BetterHelp, therapy is convenient and affordable. It's fully online. You can access it anywhere, anytime. BetterHelp connects over 5 million people with a network of 30,000 licensed therapists, specialized, experienced, and ready to help. If it's not a right fit, you can switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Hey, Happy New Year, friends. It's 2025, and a new year can mean new opportunities. For a lot of you out there, I imagine you spent the last couple of weeks sitting and thinking how to make your 2025 special, different, and set yourself in the right direction. One way that you can do so is actually by following my boss, Dan Le Batard's path, and starting your own business. You might have a lot of questions. How do I get started? How do I come up with a brand? How do I sell stuff to people? What am I even going to sell? Just take a deep breath. Shopify has got you. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open for business, and get your first sale. Get your store up running easily with thousands of customizable templates. No coding or design skills required. All you need to do is drag and drop. But I know you're thinking, what happens if I don't act now? Will I regret it? What if someone beats me to the idea? Don't kick yourself when you hear this again in a year because you didn't do anything now. With Shopify, your first sale is closer than you think. Established in 2025. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Batard. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Batard to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Batard.
Dan Le Batard.
Go pee-pee.
Stugats.
Go pee-pee.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
What's the value of one playoff game? Like, is it worth $3 million?
Are you on the road or are you home?
If you're a road team,
They're a home team.
No. But in this,
they're a home team.
Okay,
Billy.
but hold on. In this hypothetical situation, you can decide paying a player a $3 million bonus or having one road playoff game. You're never going to have any home playoff games. Do you bench him to save the $3 million because you won't make it back?
I want the playoff game because there's a chance to make it through the playoffs, and there's a huge benefit the following year in it when you increase your season ticket prices, increase your corporate prices. So I want the playoffs way more than any personal records for players. You want playoffs. All that matters is playoffs, and then all that matters above that is rings. The rest is just noise and individual accomplishment that adds up to nothing.
I will tell everybody, as I always do when David Samson is on with us, that on Nothing Personal, he covers an assortment of subject matter that I know our audience and in general sports audiences would eat up because they have a business acumen that's unusual. And if I explain to my audience or our audience well why it is they should care about what's happening with the Padres right now, I am promising you that David can produce for you a gossip that people usually like around money and power and transactions, but I don't think the American sports media covers very well this stuff. So, David, please tell me why we're covering what's happening behind the scenes with the Padres so poorly when that seems like something that the general audience would want to know about family dynamics, because as soon as we tell you that Woody Johnson's team is being run by his teenage sons, all of a sudden everyone's interested in how rich people play with their toys.
Yeah, there's some family stuff that goes on that we do talk about, like the whole Broncos situation. When Pat Bowlen died, there was tremendous fighting with the family, and it forced a sale of the team to the current owner, the Walmart guy. I'd like to talk about the Padres because Peter Seidler, the great man and a great friend who I've known for a long time, died young, 63, 3 young children. He was trying to create the Dodgers in San Diego. He did it in a way that was fiscally irresponsible but full of love, and the fans appreciated all the signing of the players. But once he died, there has been now a reduction in payroll, a return to responsibility, and now there is a fight. And this lawsuit that was brought by Peter Seidler's widow against Peter Seidler's brother is a cautionary tale about what happens when someone dies young. The wife is claiming there's a piece of paper that shows that the control person, meaning the person who should own the team once Peter's dead, is her. What the brothers are saying is, no, Peter was very clear. The person who should be running the team is me, meaning one of the older brothers. Here's what's not being discussed. Every team has to submit a succession plan to Major League Baseball, and it's true in all the sports. There is a plan in place for what happens when a controlling owner croaks, whether it's sudden or whether it's at the age of 120. And that succession plan is done in concert with a legal succession plan, like a will or a trust. And so this lawsuit has a very easy solution. And the succession plan for the Padres included his brother being voted shortly as the new control person. This is a frivolous lawsuit, and it's a sad lawsuit because she is painting the brothers as racist. She's trying to appeal to the fans, saying, why would you hurt a wife and a widow and 3 little kids? But it ignores the truth about how succession plans work.
David, last week or on Monday, you told us that you were going to come with a list of the players that you found ways to get out of giving them bonuses for. Do you have your top 12?
Top 12.
So I made a decision on that, Billy. Thank you for asking. There's really one that I want to talk about only, and I'll tell you, and I'm just going to mention it and tell you why. We had a player named A.J. Burnett, and when we had A.J. Burnett, he was young, he was brash. He got a tattoo the day before a start, and it impacted his start. He was that kind of immature. He then, of course, matured, and now he's an amazing father, an amazing guy. But he had a contract that had a level where if we started him 1 extra game, he would have gotten a payment. So we gave a start to a pitcher that no one knew, but was a high draft pick of ours. And you may know him because he was the starter when Marlins Park opened in 2012. Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson received as a young player a start when A.J. Burnett could have gotten that and could have gotten paid. And that was pretty much the end of our relationship with A.J. because he knew what had happened, and we let him go. As you all may recall, we did not sign him. We did not trade him. We let his contract expire and moved along from him. But that was an example where we were pretty honest with the pitcher, explaining that we were not going to give him the ball again. And he and his agent were less than happy.
Do you know what the bonus was? Do you remember?
Of course he does.
Yeah, it was around, call it $100K. I mean, after taxes, whatever, $70K.
This is the guy who's in charge of cleaning up the company.
You just took that money from him. This was a pitcher who threw a baseball at a truck and at a mascot, correct? While in warm-ups, he was.
That was before I got to Miami. That is a famous thing that he went after a truck behind the plate. People confuse that. You see the video here. Yeah, this is purposeful. When you're A.J. Burnett, you do not miss the catcher. That encapsulates, the picture is hitting a truck. We actually had an argument with players when they would break stuff about how they would pay for it. And we ended up just taking it out of their salary because we paid them every 2 weeks. But when they would do equipment, what we would call an equipment mistake, which is hitting a TV or breaking a window purposefully, we would charge them.
I just want to tell. Can you guys just look up for me this information? Because this player he speaks of, what a god, what a bygone,
so good,
golden age. Yeah. Go look up the stats on his no hitter.
He had 9 walks.
Or 11. Threw the ball really hard, got tattoos, broke trucks, got suspended, pierced nipples. Yeah.
He had the second most walks in no-hitter history.
What? How many? 9 or 11? I thought it was 11 because all it was throw it at your neck or strike out. And everybody was up there was afraid because he threw too hard. And back then it was about 97. Oh. Back then, 97. Now it's 147.
Every single player for the other team except for the pitcher reached base at least once. Yeah.
Nice. But how many pitches did he throw? Do you understand?
129 pitches.
It was 9 strikeouts. It was 9 walks. I have confirmed that.
Thank you. Nice memory, Stugotz. I would say that David Samson would tell you that way of pitching, that he was purposely trying to injure A.J. Burnett's elbow in that game by making him throw 129 pitches.
He either walked or hit by pitch every position player in the opposing lineup.
Wait a minute. So was it 9 walks and 2 hit by pitch? Is that what it was? Did he hit? Was it?
There's your 11.
Steve Martin.
David?
Yeah, you may not remember. He was not part of the rotation when we won the World Series because he had Tommy John, and he was out for the season, which is why we had Mark Redman and why Dontrell Willis was called up and ended up starting those games. So he still got a World Series ring. The players still voted him a share, but he was on the injured list the majority of that season.
Did you call him Redman?
Why'd you call him a Redman?
Redmond.
I love
because there's Mike Redmond and Mark Redman. So that is, we make the distinction. We talk that way.
But I think he would say it's Redmond.
I love his album with Method Man. Perfect person.
Yeah, Redman is offensive.
No, it's not. He's a rapper.
Whoa, Dan.
It's his name. It's a compound name.
That's not his name. Redman is his name. It's not Redman.
It's not Mike Redmond.
Oh, we know it's spelled
Redman.
Redman, David.
It's Redman.
No one ever said Redman.
It's Redman. It's not Redman.
It's a whirlpool.
He listens to the show.
What are you reviewing today for us, Samson?
I'm reviewing a documentary called Chasing Amy. I am very hopeful that people in the room have seen the movie Chasing Amy, which is a Kevin Smith vehicle.
It's great.
I can't imagine I'm the only one. You and I, Dan, but for sure has seen Chasing Amy.
It's one of Kevin Smith's best, and Kevin Smith's best over a 3-year period would have been as good as anybody's.
It's probably his smartest movie.
It was a movie that had a very interesting theme, which is, can you make a lesbian not a lesbian? Can you somehow get her to fall in love with you as a man? And that's what Ben Affleck was trying to do to Joey Lauren Adams, who was Kevin Smith's girlfriend at the time. This whole documentary is about how people are viewing that movie today, how politically charged it actually was, how it may not have spoken to the LGBTQ community in the language that they wanted to be spoken to, yet for some portion of the community, it spoke to them absolutely directly, and to others, it turns out it was super divisive. And I engaged with that movie in a totally different way, and I always have engaged with it differently. I engage with it as the love story that I've always been searching for, not having anything to do with LGBTQ. And the Jason Lee character as the roommate, who there's undercurrents of homosexuality and all sorts of things that happen like that. Speaking of working, do you want me to get the call from the boss at Meadowlark? And so
all
I would
sorts
tell
of
you,
things like that is the phrase you tried to use after homosexuality.
I thank you very much, Dan. Thank you for that. I hope you clip that. No. I'm trying to not step in it as someone who would be looked at as a middle-aged white straight guy.
Go take the call. It's very
I'm
important.
not taking it. I already hung up.
Oh, no.
Obviously, somebody's not watching the show live.
No, don't say that. Don't do that. What happened? Who's calling you? Who's
the brand.
Who is calling you right now?
The boss is calling.
The boss is calling you?
Bruce Springsteen?
You're talking to him.
I do believe that was me.
What? No, I thought you were talking to him now. Who are you talking? Who's calling you? I'm not calling you.
I do apologize, David.
What do you mean the boss?
We like that fun here.
Dan, you butt dialed me.
No.
Oh, boy.
There's a fine by the way for that now.
No.
What do you mean saying to my face the boss is calling you?
Yeah.
I am doing my best to juggle the amazing intricacies that exist in the world that you've created. And when I say the boss called, whoever I speak to at any particular moment, I view as the boss.
Is it Sedano's mother?
It was Will Manso.
Well played by David.
Owes me apology.
See you later, Samson.
See ya.
What a year 2024 was. Happy New Year's, everybody. New Year is this week. And some of you are going to be counting down to the new year with a lot of friends and a lot of family around. And that's a lot of palates. How do you make everybody happy? You make them happy by making New Year's time a Miller time. It's beer with taste you know you can depend on that won't let anybody down. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer for people who like beer. In all my favorite moments of 2024, Miller Lite was right there by my side. Responsibly, of course. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. Simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors, and that iconic golden color that we all know and love. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
The Dan the Batard Show with Stu Gatz is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every January feels like a fresh start. 365 blank pages, just waiting for your story to be written. In 2025, maybe you're ready for a plot twist. Ready to revise the parts of your story holding you back. Life isn't about New Year's resolutions that disappear by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your life. Therapy can help you do just that. Therapy isn't just for the big traumas. It's for anyone who wants to grow, heal, and thrive. With BetterHelp, therapy is convenient and affordable. It's fully online. You can access it anywhere, anytime. BetterHelp connects over 5 million people with a network of 30,000 licensed therapists, specialized, experienced, and ready to help. If it's not a right fit, you can switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.